Hello, everybody. This is your daily real estate practice exam question, and we're going to go over today some environmental hazards. We're going to talk about these because I think that some of you guys have told me on the test that you're getting questions about the remediation of asbestos and things like that. So let's take a look at a question that is going to be a fairly simple one for us. It might be hard for some of you guys, so let's hang in there and let's think this through. So let's take a look at the question. So the question reads like this. It is relatively easy to solve a problem caused by the presence of A, asbestos, B, underground storage tanks, C, lead paint, or D, radon. So first, let's start talking about each one of these. I'm just going to leave this question up here because I think this is just a fantastic question. And I think that we should be talking about the remediation of each one of these and why one is clearly easier than the rest. So, asbestos, that is a friable, okay? And now let me explain what friable means. Friable is spelled Friable. That means that it's crumbly, okay? So if you ever got like a thin piece of like paper mache or something and you crumbled it in your hands and then it went poof into the air, that's friable. So that's the property that radon has that causes it to be very hazardous, okay? So and when I say hazardous, it's really hazardous if it's disturbed. It becomes airborne like that because of its friable properties, and it gets ingested into the lungs, okay? That could cause a lot of health issues, all right? So asbestos is something that it is not the easiest one to remediate. There is a clear winner in this one, and it is not asbestos. But how you would remediate asbestos, the simplest way to remediate it is encapsulation. So I think some of you guys have had questions on the exam where they talk about how should you be remediating asbestos, and the way that you should be doing that is through encapsulation, because what happens is that reduces the risk of there being disturbance and during, just through the natural life of it, or through any kind of further remediation. Removing it, very, very, very difficult, and you have to do it very, very, very professionally. So that's why asbestos, not the easiest one to remediate. Underground storage tanks. So there's various different ones. Some parts of the country more prevalent than others where you'll have underground oil tanks. Also leach fields for septic systems, things like that. And depending on what they are, those could be very, very difficult remediations. And it goes just back to what is the situation and what's going on with that. So that is definitely not an easy one. There's several different ways that you remediate each one of them, and each one would depend on what you're dealing with and what the situation is. Now, lead-based paint. This is another one and this is actually the only one, just so you guys know, that has any kind of federal regulations in regards to what you need to be doing with that. And that is you need to make sure that if a home is built in 1978 or earlier, that the seller is disclosing if they have any knowledge or reports of the presence of lead-based paint. Now, typically, most times, they'll say we have no knowledge and we have no reports, okay? But they have to say that. They have to disclose that. So, obviously, you know the answer to the question already. It's D, radon. Radon is one of the easiest things to remediate. They literally put a PVC pipe down into the lowest portion of the home, typically the crawl space or the basement, and it will then vent out to the side of the home. There will be a fan that is attached, and it will just basically take whatever radon gas is naturally occurring. So radon is a naturally occurring radioactive gas that in high concentrations, so when you put a structure on a piece of property, okay, in high concentrations, it is very hazardous. So you don't want to have any kind of radon issues in regards to where you're living, any kind of improvements that you have on a piece of land. So, but luckily, the remediation is very, very easy, and most homes that are being built, even if they do not have a radon issue, typically have a what we would refer to as a passive radon system, meaning that there is the piping is already put in. They just need to activate it and put a fan in to vent it out. So it's typically pretty simple. So guys, I hope you like this one. And if you do, remember, you got to hit that subscribe button. You got to hit that like button because that really helps us out. So, guys, we're going to see you real soon. And if you have any questions, just pop them right down in the comments below. Have a good one.